Very important and helpful to know how to write hypotheses and how to test hypotheses correctly and properly. When we talk about hypotheses, we have to know that hypothesis is a claim or assumption about a phenomenon based on a limited level of evidence that opens the way or door to further investigation. Or hypothesis definition or claim about a particular phenomenon based on a particular existing evidences. And when we talk about hypotheses and hypothesis testing, we have two kinds of hypotheses. The first one is existing hypothesis or null hypothesis, which already existed and accepted by some evidences. When we write null or existing hypothesis with this sample, and actually researchers or individuals or professionals will see the exact value of existing hypothesis, and they come with some new assumptions and start an argument by a statement of a new hypothesis to challenge the existing hypothesis, and we call that alternative hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis we write with this sample, and actually by questioning, assessment, and reporting the results and information, we and all researchers expand the real knowledge and strengthen the basis of scientific knowledge. When we try to challenge a particular hypothesis and test hypothesis, we have to be honest, and we have to know that the real aspect and the real aim of testing hypothesis and challenging hypothesis to strengthen the basis of scientific knowledge and help other people by bringing helpful information with more exact results, but not just rejecting hypothesis by the use of any means or ignoring the first type and second type of error or anything. We have to be careful of errors, we have to be honest and use the exact test to bring real and be honest to report the results when we reject the hypothesis or fail the hypothesis. And also an important step when we write in this hypothesis to write hypothesis correctly and properly based on the use of particular scientific method and symbols. Because when we don't use such kind of symbols in structure, when we test through the use of a statistical test, we cannot test unclear symbols. Sometimes in social sciences or humanities, we may have some hypothesis through the use of words or sentences, like we may write an hypothesis, for example, that it seems that different cultural, social, and environmental factors affect the process of intercultural communication among international students of a particular international university negatively. It should be an hypothesis, but when we test the hypothesis, we have to change the words into particular scientific symbols to be able to assess, because we cannot test words and sentences or qualitative values through the use of quantitative and statistical tests. That's why we have to be very careful when we write hypotheses, and we have to be careful to use the right test. When we write hypotheses and test hypotheses, sometimes we use the right hypothesis and test based on the mean, based on the assessment of mean and average value. And sometimes we, when there is the case of proportion or percentages, we use we assess p-value and use different tests and write the hypothesis in different structures. All things belong to the words and assumption that already came in argument or problem, and we have to follow the problem in argument word by word clearly. And always we have to be careful, and we have to follow the required values. You know, sometimes we use one-tailed test from left to right, or sometimes we use two-tailed. It also belongs to the structure of the hypothesis and the words and the demands of problem or argument. And we have to be careful, because if there is the case of equality or non-equality, we have to use two-tailed. If there is a greater or smaller case in the hypothesis, we have to use one-tailed. For example, there is an hypothesis, existing hypothesis based on the evidences declared by a company. Like a company claims that their newly produced cars, or their new productions, new cars, spend 7 liters of petrol or 7 liters of petrol per 100 kilometers. When we read this, we write the null or existing hypothesis, mu, which symbol of mean, equals to 7 liter. We have to write this. But a person, a driver, or a technician, or auto mechanic engineer comes there to say, no, it's not correct, and the level of petrol that is spent by the new cars is different from the value given by the company. You may not give a clear or exact value or number, but at least challenges the hypothesis. And the technician or engineer or driver comes that throughout the assessment of 40 people who use the car, and by 99% of confidence, I believe that this is not true. That's why when we read, we have to write the alternative hypothesis, which say mu or mean is not equal to 7, because it challenges the existing or null hypothesis. And he mentioned the level of confidence, or the degree of confidence, 99%. 99%. And also he gave the number 40 participants, based on the results from 40 participants, or assessment of works of 40 participants it claims. And to continue this, we have to find the alpha always, because alpha is an important symbol that indicates the level of significance. And alpha always 1 minus C, or level of confidence, and here alpha be equal to 0.01, 0.01. And when we see to this one, because the company or the existing or null hypothesis claim that the limit or the amount of the petrol spent by new cars, 7 liters. It's equality. This is equal. But the null hypothesis, the hypothesis that challenges that hypothesis, say that it's not equal. That's why when we want to test this, we have to use two-tailed test. And when we draw a curve here, from two sections, we say that the rejection area, mostly we test from here, because this part is mean 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. It is the real data. In this point, we can, because it's above 40, we mostly use z-test based on the norms. It is the area of z value, and or the rejection area, and this is the mean value based on the norms. If the number of participants below 30, we use t-test. If above 30, we use z-test, and also if focus on proportion or percentage, we use p-value testing. And also if we assess another hypothesis, a researcher or a professor claims that the number of students who are on time at the classes are 15, or they have 15 students, on time students, or less than or 15 students, or the number of the students were on time in their classes, in their morning classes, 15 or less than 15. 15 or less than 15, we write null or existing hypothesis, mu equal less or equal 15. This is symbol less or equal 15. But, oh, sorry, it should be less. But a researcher or another professor or another administrative person comes that say, no, it's not 15. It's above 15. It's actually above 15. Another hypothesis, you see that? It's above 15. M or mu. Sorry. Or greater than 15, the number of students, were on time in the morning classes. In the 15, it says that write this hypothesis or state this claim. It says that I'm 95% with the sure or with the 95% of confidence, and through the assessment of 30 participants, I know that the number of students who are on time in the morning classes are more than 50. That's why we then give the number 30, and also level of confidence 95, and we can find the level of significance, again alpha equal to 1 minus c, and equals to 0.05. And here we find, because based on the this exact structure of the hypothesis and based on the given samples, we use Onw-Tailed test. And actually it's 30, but not below 30. We can use z-test, or because just 30 and very near to the required number, we can use t-test as well, student's t-test. We can use, again, we can draw a curve here, and we can find out. And we also here we decide, based on the symbols, either whether to use the left or right Onw-Tailed t-test, because the existing hypothesis or null hypothesis focus on the equality or the left side, on the left side, because when we see on this curve, this is 0 or average number, this is 1, this is 2, but there is minus 1, and minus 2. In this side, as we come to the left side, it's smaller numbers and minus numbers. If we go to the right side, it is the higher numbers and exact numbers. But when the alternative hypothesis for the hypothesis that challenge the existing hypothesis focuses on the greaterness of the value, that's why we use the right Onw-Tailed test. And that's why when we write the hypothesis, and we have to read the test clearly, and also when we write the symbols, we have to be careful to write, because when we write this, there is two symbols, small or equal. This is just one symbol, greater. And when we write the symbols, we have to be careful, and when we write the test or use the test, we have to be careful, because the main steps and the real steps that help us to test hypothesis clearly and come with clear and correct the result is to write the hypothesis clearly and you follow the exact words of argument on problem, and also use the exact test based on the wordings and structure and also symbols of the hypothesis. I'm Dr. Abdul Qahar Sarwari. If you think such videos are helpful, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.